I feel like in each one of your shorts, your main characters kind of like learn a big life lesson, and not a question, but maybe a compliment. You guys, that's super impressive to be able to do that in a short film. So congratulations again. I kind of wanted you guys to talk about maybe the parallel between what you think your character is learning in your short film and maybe what you learned throughout making this short film.
Thank you, Mika, first of all. Thanks for everyone for coming. I think one parallel between Funeral Girl and my experience making this film is just like making a film takes like a village, takes so many people, takes you guys and the mentors and all the cast and crew. So I couldn't have done it without all those people and, you know, through every stage of production. And I think, you know, what the main character Camille learns in Funeral Girl is that she's not alone. She's only alone because she made it that way. And that's kind of what Peggy at the end is telling her. And I think that's an experience we can all hopefully relate to, is like when you're kind of on a spiral and thinking you're all alone and isolated, but you're really not. You just have to like reach out to people. So yeah, so making a film is kind of like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, thank you guys for coming. Sorry. So I think with mine, like my main character, Bet, is sort of this like naive girl who's like trying to get into the industry, and she thinks like this like one callback is gonna change her life forever, and then she's sort of met with this like reality of like, oh, maybe it's not all these like beautiful roses. And that's kind of how I feel right now as like a senior film major. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be like perfect, and then I'm like, job applications. Oh, you know, it's getting real. So, but with this process, like, I think it's the same thing that Sabrina said, where there's like so much joy and like the collaboration, and like my movie does end with like hope, like she gets the call back and maybe her life will change. I don't know, and so it's kind of like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess in my film, the main character Carter, he's kind of like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to try all these different things. I'm going to try like this job. I'm going to try the radio job. I'm going to try running. And I guess like the answer at the end is like, when I was writing it, I don't really know what is next for Carter because I don't know what people are doing in their early 20s, like what the final answer is. But you just gotta like try new things, I suppose, and figure it out. But I guess that taught me when I was making that. I kind of rediscovered free will in a way. Like I feel like I was like taking life very seriously with like graduation coming up. Like okay, I need a serious job. I need to like do something serious. But I just like remembered like no, I can like be chill, take it slow, figure it out.
Thank you. I'm going to do one more question that is the same for all of you, and then I want to open it up to the audience so we get a chance to talk to each other. Something that we like to prioritize and kind of explore in the mentorship program is the idea of community and like learning together. So I would love for you guys to talk about your experience learning together as a cohort. And maybe you guys worked on each other's movies.
Yeah, I think like a big part of getting through this process was working with you guys and like being in it together, because I feel like it is such a big thing to take on, like making a film. There's so many things to think about. It's like recreating life, or, you know? So I think I really leaned on Danny, especially. Like we were always scared and talking to each other about it, you know? So that was awesome. And obviously like being in the, mentorship things with Danny and Liz was so helpful to like be in it together with people who are at the same stage as me, and, you know, have people who are more experienced to lean on as well. So yeah, that was a great part of the experience.
Yeah, it was definitely my favorite part as well. It was really cool because not only did I get to like direct a film, but I got to like AD and I got to be a production assistant. So I got to see like a film set from a different angle, not just like worrying about like actors, but like kind of the logistics of it. And also just this entire process of like, you know, this was my first time sort of making a film. And so learning from you guys, like every step from pre-production to post-production was so incredibly valuable and helpful. And then also having Sabrina and Liz along with me, because it was sometimes daunting, was really wonderful.
Yeah, it was cool. We edited each other's scripts. We like worked on each other's sets. We did editing reviews together in post. So we really got like our like held each other's hands the whole way. And it was cool being on your guys' sets because I got to see like the different roles. I got to see new people on different sets, like what the camera department was doing, what lighting was doing differently, like the different creative decisions. So yeah, it was just a lot of like learning. It was really cool.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. Maybe we can have the audience ask some questions if you guys have any. I'm not sure about the microphone situation. No microphone? Okay. Yes. Melanie.
One thing I'm really impressed with all three films is the casting, and so I'm wondering if you could just talk a little bit about that process.
I guess I personally wanted backstage, and I just put a casting call out. I put like the character descriptions, and then we casted everybody, and we really just like so many cool people came in, but it really was like a vibe check. And then eventually, like we found everybody. All the actors were so cool and fun to work with, and just like it was a good time. It was pretty easy, but once we like found chill people, yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of my favorite parts of the process, honestly, for pre-production. And I love our cast, and I think they all did an amazing job. And it was really cool to like put a post on Backstage and see these like awesome actors like apply to my short film. I was like, oh, okay, that was cool, and yeah.
Yeah, I used Breakdown Express, which was hard to figure out at first, but it was also really great casting, and you know, I think that's the first time that you really see the script coming to life because people are reading it, and like, you know, it's really cool to just see people really taking the time and effort and care to make it become a reality, which I feel like is what my cast did. And yeah, so it's really awesome to like have actors who care about your project as well.
Thank you. Over there in the back.
Hi, congratulations first of all, and I wanted to ask something I noticed across all three of your films was just like the role of mom or mother in different iterations. It sounds like you were all like working on like editing and collaborating throughout the process. I'd love to know from each of you like kind of your reactions to seeing how each of you utilized the mom and where that came from for each of your stories.
We'll start with Sabrina.
Well, my mom's here actually, and she's like my biggest supporter, and I'm very thankful for her, and I've shared everything with her. So I don't have mommy issues actually. But I think like part of what inspired Funeral Girl is that I feel like when I'm like spiraling or at my lowest, it's like my mom is the one who can see through me. So maybe I don't pick up the phone when I'm at my lowest, you know. So that's kind of where that came from. And yeah, it was really cool to see kind of how all the similarities in our films. I think, you know, it's just like we're all in similar stages of life, and like kind of that's what we're all thinking about right now is, you know, this stage of where we're like transitioning from being children to adults and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, it was cool to see how our brains kind of came together in that way.
Yeah, my mom's also here. But kind of like that, it was maybe not as clear, but you know, she's a single mom, and like she's like a waitress, and it's just like this like dream of like taking care of your family as you like kind of gain success. And so that's sort of like what inspired my mom character, because it kind of sort of resembled my relationship. But it was very interesting to see how Sabrina and Liz also took the mom role.
Yeah, I guess for Carter, I wanted him to kind of be like, oh, I don't want my mom, but I really want her to. And like, I think like, which was easy with the phone call kind of thing. But yeah, I just realized that we all had like mom.
Yeah.
Right now.
Thank you guys. I have a question for you, Liz. Could you talk about the sound design in your short film? It was kind of cool to see it and hear it somewhere where you could actually really pay attention. So kind of was, it was really like nice.
Yes. So I didn't do the sound design. My producer Grace Calderwood did it. I don't know if she's here, but yeah, the sound is. We also had like full music from the band Lola Liar. So a lot of the sound was just like putting that music in and just like having it be like high and low, and like Grace did some cool things where like she took out some of like the lyrics and just had like the guitar so we could still hear the characters. And yeah, we also had to like remove a lot of sounds. Like when we were filming outside, it was like way too loud and just like really hurt your ears. So yeah, Grace definitely did a lot with just like making it like not hurting your ears.
Danny, could I ask you about, I guess, choosing to include like a physical TV? Not necessarily like technically, but like what the TV kind of means for you. I know that you want to go into like TV screenwriting,
Yeah.
so perhaps it has to do with that.
Yeah, totally has to do with that. I just like, I thought it was a good kind of transition to like sort of her like dreamscape and her reality, because Roscoe Ryder Maxwell Jones is like her like icon, and so like to put herself sort of in the TV with him in this like the set that she has been watching probably since she was a kid on. So that was, but it was really cool like technically to work with it. It was hard, but it was really cool.
Thank you. Yeah. I have a question for Sabrina, but I want to check if the audience has another question. Over there with the hat.
So all of your films incorporated protagonists that are kind of a similar age to you guys. How did your own personal experiences play into your writing process for these characters?
Yeah, I guess when I was writing Carter, at that point I worked some like cool jobs, some fun jobs, some not so fun jobs. So I really wanted him to explore some just like different work environments and just see how he would act and react. So yeah, that's basically just like the work environments. Like I've done like desk job stuff. I also was like at a bar doing radio stuff. So that really inspired the writing.
Yeah, Bet's like 15 in the short, so a bit younger than me, but it's kind of how I feel. And like I said, you know, it's sort of the same sort of dynamic with her mom and the dream of you know, being in the art world, so.
Camille's like 18 or 19, like a freshman in college supposed to be. I feel like I kind of like touched on like how my experiences have shaped it, but specifically, I had a conversation with my friend Sophia, who's here, and we were just talking about life, and we came up with this phrase, loser spiral. So that's kind of what I've been saying that Camille is going through, is a loser spiral where, you know, it's like one thing goes wrong and then everything feels wrong. So I feel like that kind of encapsulates, you know, what she's going through. And I've never crashed a funeral, maybe I should now. But yeah, that wasn't from personal experience, but just like the general emotional arc of her, I related to. Yeah.
Thank you. Last question for you, Sabrina, is I would love you to tell us about your score.
Yeah, so the score is by Grace Duck. I don't know if she's here or not, but I think she's just graduated from Barnard. And she actually worked on a film from last year's Reginald by Selena Wu. Which that's how I found her, and that was like one of my favorite. I mean, I loved all parts of making this, but it was such a surprising, interesting part because I love music, and it was just really cool. Like she would send me little clips, and you know, I'd be like, oh, change this, or I want this vibe, and she would send another clip. So it was just amazing that musicians can do that, and you know, I feel like it really like changed the tone and made Funeral Girl what I want it to be. So that was like really awesome, and I'm so grateful for Grace for doing that, and I'm very happy with the score, so thank you, Grace.
Awesome. I think that is all the time we have for today. If you guys could help me give them another round of applause.